race into week 12 of the NFL season with the Houston Texans taking on the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo are in town, and we're hoping, Tom, after a few damp squib games on Thursday Night Football, we're going to be treated to a better one.
Well, we've got to, surely. I mean, there have been no points scored in the other ones. It's been a dismal display, especially for everyone in Britain who've been watching this and staying up to 1:30 just for kickoff, maybe 4 until the end of the game. We need a good action-packed encounter. These two teams, quite interesting. They're both very strong. I will say the defense of Houston may cause this to not be an absolute shootout, but this should be a good game. At least we're not dealt with 2 1-8 teams or 1-9 teams this week.
First question. Are the Houston Texans a better team with Davis Mills as opposed to CJ Stroud at the moment?
Yes.
It's something you don't like admitting, but it's the same for the Arizona Cardinals. They're a better team with Jacoby Brissett than they are with Kyler Murray. But for some reason, Houston keep on winning. It might be a case that CJ Stroud is hurt until Davis Mills stops winning. But Davis Mills is doing a great job.
He's done a great job, as you say. Sorry to jump in there. He's done a brilliant job. And last week, he wasn't just accurate, but he was efficient as well throughout the whole course of the game. He looked like a starting quarterback, not a guy that's come in to replace the starting QB. And it's weird. I kind of categorize Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud in the same boat. I don't know whether you do. Both small QBs who have some mobility, but don't tend to use it in the right format. I mean, Kyler Murray just goes backwards with his scrambles. CJ Stroud just prefers to stay in the pocket. I don't know. Neither of them have really performed over the last year and a half or so. And maybe it is worth going back to these pocket passer types.
My problem is with Houston is that the O-line is just terrible. It's still bad even with Davis Mills, but Davis Mills seems to be overcoming things. Hopefully, he can do enough to put on at least a show for us, because the Buffalo Bills are 5.5-point favorites. The over-under regards to total points is 43.5, which is a bit lower than on a few games that we've seen, but there is the potential of points in this. However, the Texans defense is good and the Bills defense is good, and they've also got Josh Allen, which is quite a problem if you're taking unders.
Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup when you're talking about the total points, because if you look at Buffalo's offense, they scored 42, I think it was, against Tampa last week. They looked great. It looked like they finally realized they needed to start running Josh Allen on QB designed runs rather than what they had been doing in previous weeks, which were basically just plowing him from the one or letting James Cook take all the running plays rather than actually using Josh's physique and stature to actually run the ball. Last week, they were so good at putting up points, but their defense did look gettable. They gave away 33 to Tampa. Houston's defense is very good. I don't think many people are zoning in on this. Obviously, everyone talks about Denver. We talk about, Philadelphia, the Packers, of course. But Houston's D, I mean, I looked at some of these stats for Houston's defense, which I'll read out when it comes to the player props, but they are really impressive. They are giving away the fewest amount of total yards per game. So Josh Allen's going to be at his best if Buffalo win this matchup. If you pushed me, I would take Houston on the handicap spread, but I'm not going to be playing on the game outcome here.
No, plus 5.5, that would be. Are Houston better Cleveland?
Well, most teams are better Cleveland, aren't they? What do you mean?
But in like a direct comparison, Cleveland have got a ridiculously good defense, but their offense is just an absolute shambles. The offense for Houston isn't a total shambles. It's not great, but it's better.
Yeah, I feel like it's better. If Houston had a good O-line, I think they'd be capable of getting to the playoffs, But the offensive line's the killer here. They've got good talent at receiver. We'll talk about one of their young guns in a second, but obviously Nico Collins as well. Their defense is unbelievable, and Stingley is obviously their main guy, along with Will Anderson. So, yeah, I think they're a much better Cleveland Browns, actually. They are comparable to better teams than Cleveland.
Yeah, Houston not doing a bad job with what they've got. They're on the fringe of being a very good team. Before we get into our analysis and picks, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment down below, leave a like on this video as well. And if you want more NFL stuff, sign up to our memberships tier. We went 2 for 3 last night on the memberships. I don't think, Tom, we've had a memberships podcast where we've been negative or
No.
i.e. not in profit.
No. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was frustrated that my selection was the one that let us down yesterday, but we were so close as well. Like, I put up Jake Ferguson over 4.5 receptions. He had 4. So we lost out by a reception from going 3 from 3. But yeah, every week seems to be profit for the members. It's a very cheap fee. You do get a live every Monday based on that Monday Night Football game. So it's well worth signing up for.
Absolutely. And there are other things and other nuggets that we do throw into it from time to time as well. But the link for that will be down below. Check that out if you haven't already. Let's get in to our picks, because 3 picks revolve around one player, Tom. So you go for the other guy.
Yeah, okay. So my selection that doesn't revolve around that player is still on the Houston side, spoiler alert, and it's going to be to do with Woody Marks, the running back. I'm going to take Woody Marks over 57.5 rushing yards. This is at 10 to 11. I think with a couple of firms, the price is 4 to 5, suggesting there may be a line switch up to 58.5. If you are watching this early, try and take the 57.5. But look, if it's an extra yard, I don't have a problem with that. The reason I like Woody Marks over here, firstly, he has become RB1 in this team. He has kind of taken over Nick Chubb in the role. He's not going to go for 20 to 25 carries per game, but he will have between maybe 14 and 18, which should be a good enough workload to cover this line. Secondly, the Bills have been absolutely terrible against the run. They rank 31st in 32 teams in the league against rushing in terms of yards given up per game. And just in the last 5 weeks, here are some stats for you. They gave up 210 yards for 6.6 yards per carry against Atlanta, 114 yards, 4.1 yards per carry against Carolina. That came in a 40-9 victory, by the way. Carolina still went over 100 yards and 4 yards per carry. Then they gave up 79 yards, 4 yards per carry against Kansas City. You know, Kansas are a team that don't really run the ball very efficiently anyway. Then 197 yards in the game against Miami, 6.2 yards per carry. And then last week against Tampa, 202 rushing yards in that game, 5.2 yards per carry. And that was Sean Tucker. That wasn't Bucky Irving. That was Sean Tucker. So this team against the run is just deplorable right now. Woody Marks is surely going to break a couple in here. And if he does, he goes over this line of 57.5. So that's my first play.
I have a couple of problems with this pick.
Go on.
My main one is that Woody Marks burned me yesterday because he was one of my picks. And he just was rubbish. He ended on 44 yards. I think he had 18 carries of 44 yards. If you've got 18 carries against the Tennessee Titans, you should be absolutely crushing. You should be almost hitting 100. My second problem is that for some reason, the coaching staff forgot that they can run outside with Woody Marks. If they keep on piling him up the middle, it's not going to work with this O-line. At one point, I think he was about 11 carries for 19 yards. He was averaging 1.9 per carry. He managed to get a few chunks at the end, which took him up to a more respectable 44. But the coaching staff have to work out that you can go round the offensive line rather than through them as well.
I completely hear that. I really do. And I was watching the ESPN app during that game because obviously I was trying to keep track of your selections as well as mine on Sunday. And I did see at one point it was 14 carries for 28 yards. And I thought, well, this is disappointing. We're not going to get a winning bet here. So I agree with you. And look, the play calling's not been great. If they were playing any other team other than Buffalo, who are just terrible against the run, I wouldn't be interested in playing any Houston Texans running back right now. But I just feel like any person could run on this Buffalo D.
Yeah, the problem I had in the game yesterday or Sunday, wherever you listen to this, was that Nick Chubb came in and immediately was like 3 for 17 or something like that. However, they just went straight back to Woody Marks at the end of the game and started giving him more carries. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, for the next part, we're going to do our thing. But I have a live audience in my house and a live audience that cringe at stuff when I do weird things.
And are you trying to pass it to me here?
No, well, no, but I've got my beautiful partner, Jasmine, who I love and adore and cherish her in every capacity. And I've got my fantastic son, Alfie, who is, again, just wonderful. But they also hate when we have to do something like this because, Tom, it's time to joint play.
Time to joint play. Here we go, baby. This is what everyone tunes in for, though, right? Everyone waits for that little, I'm going to call it a ringtone that you give everyone out there.
If you want to pay 99p, I'll do it as a ringtone for you at home. But they are suitably hating what just happened. However, the joint play is live this week. And I'm going to be honest, Tom, this is probably one of the most confident picks I've had the entirety of the season so far.
Do you want to go for it then?
Let's do it. Jaden Higgins over 25.5 receiving yards. I think this line is wrong by about 16 yards. Just for the over-under, that is. I would be taking this over up to probably 40.5, honestly. And I think even that, he might go a little bit further over. Now, Jaden Higgins, we said about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they need to give up with Christian Kirk. They need to give up with Xavier Hutchinson, albeit, to be fair, Xavier Hutchinson hasn't done a bad job from time to time. But get the young guys through. Get Jaden Higgins through. Get Jalen Knoll through. And they've begun to just move that way. Jaden Higgins is beginning to perform as well, but still he's not trusted with the amount of snaps or snap share that he should be. Last week, I think he went over 60% regards to snap share percentage. He still was very good, and honestly, even better with Davis Mills. Davis Mills has got the memo, and he's targeting him. 2 weeks back, 57% snap share, 61% against Tennessee just the other day. But he's had 7 targets in his last 2 games, 5 catches and 4 catches. We're not talking about a line where you need Jaden Higgins to hit 70 plus yards. 25. That's 1 catch effectively for Jaden Higgins. He's gone over this line in 3 of his last 4 games. He hit 34 yards against San Francisco, 42 against Jacksonville, 55 against Tennessee. And Davis Mills is out there looking for him. And I think he's made that step now into the actual number 2 role. And he should. He's a big body receiver. He goes up. He gets the ball when you ask him to. Him and Nico Collins, if the Houston Texans want to be semi-serious about making a playoff run, they need to utilize both of these guys. I think this line is just so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Completely agree on everything you've said there. I'm taking Jaden Higgins over 25.5 receiving yards as well. I think the line should be around 40. I completely agree with you there. We have not shared notes for anyone wondering. We did just put it in the WhatsApp group literally before filming our selection only. But you have covered everything that I want to say. The only thing I'll add to that is that Davis Mills is trusting him more than CJ Stroud did. But even when CJ Stroud was at QB 4 games back, against San Fran, he had 8 targets. So he has become a part of this offense. And crucially, those targets aren't just coming in the middle of the field on like a 3rd and 16, where you can get a player going and you use a wide receiver screen or something for 5 yards. They are down the field. They're in the red zone as well. They're kind of using him. They're looking for him. And that is a difference to what we saw in the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. If you take out the Denver game, they played Denver 3 games back, I think it was. He's had 22 targets in the last 3 matchups. So, Higgins is going to get his target, surely. He's going to get 6 to 7 at least. And if he does, you'd anticipate at least 3 catches. Surely then he covers the line. Nico Collins, by the way, also has a designated injury right now. He'll probably play. He's questionable, but he'll probably play. We kind of want him to play. Otherwise, Higgins will be wide receiver 1. But if Collins is playing hurt, then Higgins is going to be used more. I love this play. I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, 100%. It's a bet I've already actually done as well, because this line is going to move. By game time, I think this will be 36.5. I think this line is so desperately wrong. It's crazy. At the moment, well, I think Davis Mills is going to play. CJ Stroud was listed as a non-participant in the Monday practice. It doesn't actually exist, but you have to list whether a player would have practiced. So it's looking like it's going to be Davis Mills again. And I'm going to add another thing on to Jaden Higgins, because I think he finds the end zone in this game. And he's 5 to 1. That might be the biggest price NFL pick we've put up on this podcast. I think 5 to 1 is crazy. Jaden Higgins, regards to in the red zone, he's had 5 targets all season. He's caught 3 of them. 2 of them have managed to go for a touchdown. Regards to target percentage on the season in the red zone, he's standing at 14.7. Now you look at that and think, well, that's not that high. It's not terribly low. You would take it. Nico Collins obviously dominates targets in the red zone at 41.2%, but that's on the entirety of the season. Jaden Higgins has only just started getting looks in the red zone, and they're looking quite frequently as well. And he is beginning to get touchdowns. I think he's the type of receiver who, as I say, he's a big body receiver. He makes contested catches and he takes the ball away from the defense. He managed a touchdown against Jacksonville, against San Francisco. He's got 2 touchdowns in his last 4 games. You're giving me 5 to 1 about that? I'll take Jaden Higgins on the double. Obviously, the main play is the yardage, which I think he'll crush. But 5 to 1, that's just a silly price. I thought it'd be more 5 to 2, but I'll take Jaden Higgins to get in the end zone.
I like it. Yeah, taking a bit of a risk, but we like that. Like to see that. Big prices. You can't really find them very often in the NFL. Everyone should understand why. Usually most markets are 50-50, one way or the other. Here, 5 to 1. I think that is definitely the biggest price selection we've put up in an actual game itself. Obviously, anti-post selections, Super Bowl picks, division winners, etc., would be higher. But yeah, no, I like it. And by the way, just to end this video here, we talked about Super Bowl anti-post selections and division winners. Did you happen to watch that Denver Kansas City game on Sunday?
I did.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. Did you?
Boring.
What a game. Oh, Bo Nix proving that he's a quality QB. Gary Slater, I've already messaged you in the chat, but what can I say? Denver have won the division now. They all but have. I mean, their next 2 games are really easy. They do face Kansas at the end of the year, but they're looking good.
I think Bo Nix still sucks. I will. Let's have a bet. I'll go this week. Bo Nix under 150 passing yards.
I'll take the over. Fine, but I mean, he probably won't need to throw for over, but I'll take the over anyway.
They're on their bye week. Good job. Good job. Nice to know you're prepared. Right. That is a look at Thursday Night Football. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment down below with your favourite picks. And if you're joining the Jaden Higgins bandwagon, Tom, take us through your picks again.
Yeah, Jaden Higgins over 25.5 receiving yards as at 10 to 11. And Woody Marks over 57.5 rushing yards. Again, at 10 to 11. That line may change, but I'm happy to take a yard or two extra if it has by the time you're watching.
Yeah. The second you're listening to this, as it's uploaded, go take that line of Jaden Higgins 25.5 because I don't see how he doesn't go over it unless he gets hurt, which you can't factor things in. So Jaden Higgins over 25.5 receiving yards, and I'll take Jaden Higgins anytime touchdown as well at 5-1. We're hoping for a Jaden Higgins game on Thursday Night Football as the Bills are in town to take on the Houston Texans. That is us done for Thursday Night Football. Tom Collins, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, guys.